So Darshan or Rohit, just edit the thumbnail, please.
Somebody wants to just check with Tina.
No, I just messaged Tina. She's joining in now.
Bala?
Bala, I'll call. Bala, can you call Dana? I will have to go on now.
Okay.
One second, Bala is calling me.
Good. Okay. Take it. Joe, you're saying something, Joe?
No. It must be quite a technical challenge getting all this together.
Yes, it's been fun the last 3 days. I've learned a lot, but the teams said that they know a lot about it. I've personally learned a lot. All these chat rooms and not used to all of this.
Well, this could be the future.
Looks like, isn't it? Everything we try to keep our kids away from is now the norm.
Well, it might solve the safe environment issues. Everyone stay at home.
Increasingly, what we've seen is that the home is the most unsafe. Kids, the kind of calls we're getting right now, the dial-ins in terms of the helpline,
Okay.
yeah, it's throwing a very bad.
I'm sure. Yes.
Physical, verbal, all abuses. Kids are not able to manage. Parents are not able to manage. So.
That's true.
School
The stress is a lot.
School spaces were more safe.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Bala. Good morning.
Yeah, who is that speaking?
Diana.
Yeah, I can't see you, that's why. I can see Shalini and Meenu and Divya Darshan. I can't see. Anyway, so good to hear you, Diana. So, awaiting captain's orders.
We wait.
Morning, Mr. Balagopal. Swaroop here.
Hi, Swaroop.
How
How are you?
Good.
I must check what whiskey you drink, because how do you manage to look so young? You know? You look even younger than the last time I saw you.
Diana is trying not to look flustered.
Hello, Deepti.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Hi, Diana.
I'm trying to get used to
Tina.
being the oldest guy in the room and looking the oldest guy in the room also. It's not a nice feeling, but trying to get used to it.
Morning. Tina has joined in. Morning, Tina.
Yeah, morning, Diana.
Joe, Mr. Bala, and Mr. Swaroop are on the call as well. Can you see us? If you can switch
Okay,
to
hello.
the speaker view. All of you, if you can switch to the speaker view, you will be able to see the grid.
Yeah, can see.
The grid, yeah. So you can see the rest of them and the team.
Okay, anyway, I'm dialing in, so I'm not on video for y'all.
Yeah. Morning, Mr. Raja.
Yeah, now I can see Diana. That's a very fetching yellow dress you're wearing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so good morning. I think with that, we can start the day. It's an exciting new day, and I'm really glad to welcome you all on behalf of S.A.F.E Foundation to the third day of S.A.F Forum 2020. For the past 2 days, we have been discussing the problem of addiction and habit formation among teenagers and young adults. We also discussed the possible solutions in the context of using alternative pursuits in preventing substance abuse. Today, we have opened the floor for the youth to present their innovations and solutions to prevent substance abuse among children. In addition to our heroes of the day, we have an exciting lineup of juries who listen to the ideas and give their valuable feedback. Before we start, I would like to remind the participant that this session is being live streamed on YouTube. You can share the link to your friends and colleagues to join. I request all the participants to keep their microphone muted during the panel. You can contact the host via the chat box if you have any technical issues. Today, I would also be happy to introduce my co-host, Ms. Deepti.
Thank you, Darshan. Good morning, everyone. എൻ്റെ പേര് ദീപ്തി. ഫോർത്ത് വേ ഫൗണ്ടേഷൻ പ്രൊജക്ട് വേണ്ട സേഫ് ഫോറത്തിന്റെ 3ാം സീരീസിലാണ് നാം എത്തി നിൽക്കുന്നത്. ഈ പരിപാടി യൂട്യൂബിൽ തത്സമയം സംപ്രേഷണം ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇതിന്റെ ലിങ്ക് ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. നിങ്ങളുടെ സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾക്കോ ഈ വിഷയത്തിൽ താല്പര്യമുള്ള വ്യക്തികൾക്കോ ലിങ്ക് അയച്ചു കൊടുക്കാവുന്നതുമാണ്. സേഫ് 2020യുടെ 3ാം ദിവസമായ ഇന്നത്തെ പരിപാടിയിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന വിശിഷ്ട വ്യക്തികളെയും വിദ്യാർത്ഥി സുഹൃത്തുക്കളെയും ഏറെ സ്നേഹാദരപൂർവ്വം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. കഴിഞ്ഞ 2 ദിവസങ്ങളിലായി ഫോറത്തിൽ പ്രധാനമായും ചർച്ച ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടത് കൗമാരപ്രായക്കാരിലെയും യുവജനങ്ങളിലെയും ലഹരി ഉപയോഗവും പ്രശ്നങ്ങളും പരിഹാരങ്ങളും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഓൾട്ടർനേറ്റീവ് പർസ്യൂട്ട്സ് സബ്സ്റ്റൻസ് അബ്യൂസിനെ എത്രമാത്രം പ്രിവെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്നതിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ചുമാണ്. ഇന്ന് ചർച്ച ചെയ്യപ്പെടുന്നത് സേഫ് സബ്സ്റ്റൻസ് അബ്യൂസ് ഫ്രീ എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനായി എന്തൊക്കെ മാർഗങ്ങൾ സ്വീകരിക്കാം എന്നതിനെ സംബന്ധിച്ച് കോളേജ് വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളുടെ ആശയങ്ങളാണ്. 5 മിനിറ്റാണ് ഒരു ടീമിന് ആശയങ്ങൾ അവതരിപ്പിക്കാനുള്ള പരമാവധി സമയം.
Today, we have Mr. C.C. Joseph with us to orient us about Project VENDA. Mr. C.C. Joseph is the director of S.A.F.E Foundation. Mr. Joseph has more than 14 years of experience in creating and implementing professional, educational, and social initiatives for national and international organizations. Having traveled across the world, Joseph has exposure to different cultures, communities, and initiatives that have helped him build practical, people-based development programs that focus on the real problem. CC Joseph is the key designer of all initiatives rolled out by the Fourth Way Foundation, including Project VENDA.
Good morning. Once again, thank you all for joining this webinar. Just to give you an idea of what has been happening in the last 2 days, we were looking at the data. We had on both days around 175 participants joining us on Zoom and close to 100 on YouTube live from different, I think around 8 different countries. So today also we are expecting the same response. And one beautiful thing that happened in the past 2 days was after the official close, that after around 12 o'clock, we had the participants interacting with the speakers for about another hour, which was something that we were really taken aback, because that showed the keenness and the interest of those who were part of the whole program. Project VENDA's one of the important philosophy of Project VENDA is that solution to the problem that we are facing, especially right now, maybe the problem of substance abuse or drug abuse lies within the community. And all that Project VENDA or all that we are going to do or we do is enable the community to find that solution or find that peg and go about it. One of the key focuses of this year's S.A.F.E forum, last couple of years we had S.A.F.E forums, but this year's S.A.F.E forum was focused on youth, because we believe that the young can come up with brilliant ideas and solutions for this problem. And when we were going through the submissions of the colleges that gave their presentation, we were taken aback the brilliant ideas that came. Because of the limitation of time, we have just selected 7 to present today, but all the ideas are actually nice, and we were wondering if we can create a platform where all these ideas can be actually showcased. But the 7 that we have selected is just because we have used a sieve, and because of the lack of time we had to select these 7, but all the ideas were really nice and really good. And one of the key objectives of this S.A.F.E forum of 2020 was to interact with the youngsters, to discuss this problem, and more importantly, maybe internally for Project VENDA, was to have a small team of committed young people in various colleges who would take this message forward. And looking at the interactions that we had in the last 2 days, I think we have achieved, or we are close to achieving what we set out to do. And today, the panel who are going to listen to the brilliant ideas are consists of 4 very eminent people, and 4 in actually stalwarts in the 4 different areas that they represent. If you look at Joe is someone who has created his own brand, and he's a social entrepreneur. If you look at Tina is part of the CSR head of CSR initiative of Muthoot Group. Swaroop, maybe one of the key persons behind branding Kerala as a tourist destination, and I know him personally. One thing I like about Swaroop is asking those very probing questions that make us think a lot. And Bala, who actually every time I talk to him, one of the key things I like about him is he completely throws out your thinking and makes you think in a very different way. So all the 4 of them, if you look at Bala, he is the founder of a company that today exports to more than 58 countries. So they have done, or they are actually people who have walked the talk. So they are not going to listen to the presentations on a theoretical level, but actually look at each presentation on a very practical level. And it's a privilege to have the 4 of you with us, spending this time and listening to the students. And I think it's a privilege for the students to present their ideas before this panel, because this panel actually can throw a lot of light on the way the young people can take this things forward. So all the best to the teams. And for those who are not presenting today, once again, I want to say that it is not because your idea is not good. We just used a sieve to the 4 or 5 criteria that we showed, just used a sieve to actually pick 7 because of the restriction of time. And all the best to the 7 teams that are going to present today. Let's have a wonderful time together. And at the end, we will have the panelists also speaking to us on various perspectives that they have. So have a wonderful day and have a wonderful time with Project VENDA. Thank you.
Thank you, C.C. Joseph. ഇന്ന് ഈ പരിപാടിയിൽ നമ്മുടെ ക്ഷണം സ്വീകരിച്ച് ജൂറിയായി എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്നത് അവരുടേതായ മേഖലകളിൽ വ്യക്തിമുദ്ര പതിപ്പിച്ച വിശിഷ്ട വ്യക്തിത്വങ്ങളാണ്.
That note, Project VENDA is proud to welcome Mr. C. Balagopal, the Independent Director of Federal Bank. Mr. Balagopal was co-opted on the board of the Federal Bank in 2015. He's a postgraduate in economics from Madras University. He then joined the Indian Administrative Service in 1977 and worked in various posts in Manipur and Kerala. After his resignation, he set up a company to manufacture indigenously developed biomedical devices for the first time in the country, known as Terumove Penpol Limited, and is one of the biggest manufacturers and exporters of blood bag systems in the world. Mr. Balagopal is involved in mentoring and investing in startup ventures, community development activities, and writing. He has authored several books and a sought-after speaker on subjects ranging from business, healthcare, and public health and entrepreneurship. Project VENDA is also glad to welcome Mr. S.A.F.E BR. He is the Vice Chairman and co-founder of Star Communications and Brand Director of BR&S Consultants. He played a key role in consolidation, expansion, diversification, and nurturing of Star Communications, one of South India's top creative hotspots. He has won national and international accolades for various campaigns conceived and created for Kerala tourism, including the much acclaimed Your Moment is Waiting. Mr. Swarup got featured in Prague International Advertising list of top creative directors worldwide. He was a grand jury member for New York Festival from 2012 to 2019. He is also on the advisory board of Project VENDA. Welcome, sir. Ms. Tina Susanna George, Associate Vice President of Finance, Muthoot Capital Services. She has been hands-on on various aspects in the financial space, including audit, international tax consulting, corporate law, data analysis, regulatory and compliance aspects, and operational aspects of taxation. Her extensive work experience comes on top of an outstanding academic foundation. Ms. Tina is a chartered accountant by qualification, has completed level 1 of the C.F.E program, and has undertaken summer program in management at Harvard Extension School. Ms. Tina has been a top student in Bachelor of Commerce degree with high scores. She excelled at school and college level as well, being district level topper across varied parameters. In her spare time, Ms. Tina enjoys public speaking, singing, art, and writing. Project VENDA is thrilled to have Ms. Tina George at the jury panel to review the social initiative ideas. We also have Mr. Joe Akarath with us. Mr. Joe Akarath is a fashion designer, entrepreneur who graduated from National Institute of Fashion Technology, New Delhi. He even graduated with the title of Best Design Collection. He then worked with courtier Sunit Verma. Later, in 2000, he relocated to Kottayam, Kerala, his native place, where he started his own company with his own label, Joe Akarath. His first collection was presented in Paris at Studio Crochet during a défilé spectacle. Joe has co-created movability clothing to provide clothing and accessory solutions for persons with disabilities. He aims to create equitable, ecological, and elegant clothing. His clothes are also available at Grasshopper in Bangalore, Ensemble in Delhi, Amethyst in Chennai, Teatro Dora in Jaipur, and Sosas in Goa. Project VENDA can't think of a better jurist on the panel who has taken up the social entrepreneurship model through a fashion label. Without any further delay, we will start with the presentation of ideas of social initiatives by our team youth. The teams will be presenting their solutions to prevent substance abuse among teenagers and young adults. Each team will have 5 minutes to present their idea. There will be a warning bell at the end of the 4th minute. When the 5 minutes are up, the host will mute your mic. The esteemed jury will have 5 minutes for interaction with each team. They can ask for clarification, offer feedback, and valuable suggestions for each presentation.
നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങൾ ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. ഓരോ ടീമിനും 5 മിനിറ്റാണ് അവതരിപ്പിക്കുവാനുള്ള സമയം. 4 മിനിറ്റ് ആകുമ്പോൾ ഒരു വാണിംഗ് ബെൽ മുഴങ്ങുന്നതായിരിക്കും. 5 മിനിറ്റ് ആവുമ്പോൾ ഹോസ്റ്റ് നിങ്ങളുടെ മൈക്ക് മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും. ശേഷം 5 മിനിറ്റ് ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ജൂറിക്ക് ടീമുമായിട്ട് ഇന്ററാക്ഷൻ ചെയ്യാം. അവർക്കുള്ള ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക്, സജഷൻസ്, ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ഒക്കെ ആ സമയത്ത് ചോദിക്കാവുന്നതാണ്. ഓക്കെ, എല്ലാവർക്കും മനസ്സിലായി എന്ന് വിശ്വസിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് സേഫ് സബ്സ്റ്റൻസ് അബ്യൂസ് ഫ്രീ എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുവാൻ അവരുടെ സോഷ്യൽ ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവ് ഐഡിയ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനായി ടീം നമ്പർ 1 വിജിലൻസ് ഫ്രം മോഡൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോളേജിലെ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികളായ അക്ഷയ്, അലൻ സെബാസ്റ്റ്യൻ ജോർജ്, അലക്സ് ജൂഡ് സേവിയർ, മിഥുൻ ഫ്രാൻസിസ് എന്നിവരെ ക്ഷണിച്ചുകൊള്ളുന്നു.
Rohit, you will have to help unmuting the participants.
I requested to 3 of them. I didn't find one of them.
Who is the lead? Who is the lead on the team?
Akshay, Mithun,
Good morning.
Alan. നാലാം താളാണ്.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes. 1 minute. We are putting up the presentation.
Akshay ആണോ ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്?
No, Alex will be putting up the present. I think Alan is putting up the presentation right now.
So you'll have to make Alan co-host or give permission to. Can you all start?
The host has disabled participant from sharing screen, so I can't actually share my screen now.
Who is speaking?
That was Alan Sebastian George speaking.
You can share now.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Alan. You can start your 5 minutes. Nino will be timing here.
Good morning. Our plan, our idea is to develop a system where awareness is spread not just among the ordinary citizens like parents and students. We are planning also to spread awareness among the public officials, the law enforcement officials, etc. By developing a software that would allow them to monitor the current trends and the areas which are most affected by the drug abuse, etc., so that we can better allocate the manpower and the funds that are already in short for the law enforcement and the anti-drug squad, so to prepare them for maybe develop a better idea, so that it can be focused on a particular way that it is best for the entire society. It will be explained more by Alan Sebastian.
So cyberspace is something which we have come up with. So what we think is that we are actually creating a website platform or an app platform where we can actually anonymously report drug activities and illegal selling and usage of drugs. So what we can actually achieve from this is that we can identify the key hotspots of the abuse. We can identify the changing trends, locations, and we can also develop new ways to approach and combat substance abuses. The user basically registers in the site, is completely anonymous to the public eye, reports about the offense. Based on the information and the number of times a region is reported, we can segregate each places in the map into different zones, depending on different usages. So each zone will be assigned different level of intensity of using for on the usage of drug, and we can reallocate fund and manpower to combat such places and make the zones drug free. So basically, this is the essence of cyberspace. This is what we have come up with. This is the basic website prototype which we have come up. So this is the user login where the user just logins with the phone number. This is to ensure that the person is genuine, but it does not specify which input that the user has given. So this is just verify that the user is genuine. So we confirm the user with the phone number. That's all. Then the person can report the offense on different, give the description of the offense, give the pin code of the location, mention the locality and the district. Also, we have also given the regional language as Malayalam in an optional way. So this is about cyberspace. Then ad campaign is that we intend to increase the awareness about our cyberspace app. Also give importance to mental health awareness and campaigns for drug use for people. So we are expecting to have different orientations for different persons, like parents and students has to be have different orientations. So for parents, we have to warn them that their children is also vulnerable to drug abuse, and it is important to be vigilant about their children. For students, we are asking the colleges and schools to implement these themes in their competition such that they can combat the drug awareness with the students and make the students feel that they're also on the same side. This will be taken by Alex.
Okay, so this is basically an aspect where we have to think about that none of the rehabilitation or what, because most of the people involved in the drug abuse would belong to the lower middle class or the poor communities, and they have no way of combating this financially. And the fact that the government or the insurance companies are not even going to provide you with any sort of compensation for the same. And also the fact that mental abuse and mental health and substance abuse have been found to be correlated. And the genuine idea that the number of psychologists, skilled psychologists in India do not match the ratio of the number of mental patients. And the next one is that it's just that to work in tandem with the said solutions, you have to have a rehabilitation center which is affordable and which is easily accessible. And we have to remove the stigma that mental issues are not an actual issue. And also coming up with an idea, sort of like how the jail system, the correction facility systems work. The rehabilitation trend should also be in such a way that they are involved. The people involved have a skill training, as well as in that skill, they're supposed to work with that skill that they're given. And so that by the end of the time that they come out of the correction facility, they have some amount of money to live by. And we need to ensure that we have to bring to attention that government needs to improve the infrastructure of these correction facilities so as to provide a better rehabilitation facility to the people involved. And the final thing is that all of this culminates to the need for society to act together, because we are all to come to terms with the fact that society indeed is responsible for this sort of issues that happen within the country. And that is all there is. Thank you.
That's all.
Also, we would like to showcase a small prototype app which we had developed.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
Can we ask some questions?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so there are many ideas which have been thrown up. So which is the project? It's not very clear to me. You know, there are so many ideas. So what is the project?
So
what we were planning was to develop the first part, the cyberspace. What we meant was to develop a app or a app or software. We made an app. It's just a framework or the skeleton. Basically, what we plan is not to enforce anything. That you can't report a person's name and say and you can convict them. It's basically to develop trends so that we can understand what is the trend on the ground. We have new trends developing each day. Maybe what the kind of drugs we use today might not be the same that might be used tomorrow or the next day. So
good. So that means, I'm just trying to understand. That means it is to. I think you should focus your presentation. Then you'll be very effective. I mean, it started out very well, but then it went all over the place. That was the problem. So if it was the app and by anonymization of such reports. An aggregation, this app will aggregate data and present where are the hotspots, what are the drugs, what are the new trends emerging, etc. You got an information capturing mechanism which is of great value. I think you should just focus on that and try to build it up, because all the rest of it, there are lots of people, lots of agencies doing lots of work. So this is just my view. I'm over to the other jurors.
Okay, I think I'll give mine now. The app idea is great, but something that I would ask is how you are going to get this out into the community. Like, that would be one question, how you're going to create awareness, because there are numerous apps like this, or numbers that people say, okay, you have to dial for this. If there is something like this has to be something that people have to remember. So you have to see like how to target that kind of audience. How are you going to get the community involved? Like, those actionables are something that maybe you need to think about. Like, where would you create awareness for this app? That's the only way that it can be effective. So this is something, just ponder over this, like how to make the app reach the market, like the community that can actually use it. So that it can serve its purpose.
Okay, thank you. We will look into that. This is just skeleton idea we developed recently.
Yeah.
I haven't gone in depth on that.
Okay. The app idea is good, but yeah.
Also, we when we go for movies, we see the ad campaigns about smoking and alcohol, right? So what they're actually missing is that they actually miss these kind of drug awareness also. So we would like to stress out that, and also give them an option that such an app is ready, that they can use it to report. I think that would be effective.
Okay.
How much would it cost to develop your app?
Currently, we developed this prototype app out of no cost. It's actually very simple. It's called MIT App Inventor. It takes about less than 1 hour to make this app, but it's actually we have actually just get a few buttons in it just for a prototype basis. But on full scale, I think it can take 2 to 3 days to build a work.
The issue with the app we have right now is we need a working server, as well as we need content checker, so that let's say any person can put anything there. We need someone to verify it. So it might be costly in the future. We might need someone to check the content. Maybe look into the trend. We can have people use it to maybe smear a particular organization or anything. We need a content checker, so it might be a little bit costly. We haven't gone into the cost aspect. This was just an idea we developed in less than a week. So if this gets motion, we will think about it in the future.
Have you done any research on such apps in marketplace? Is there any app like this in Kerala or in India that someone can download?
To be honest, I don't know about the.
Actually, just unmute.
We haven't looked into that part.
To be honest, sir, we haven't really researched on that part yet. If this app gets into motion, we will look into it future. Maybe by the next by the next chance we might have on this, we will look into it.
Any other thoughts or questions?
I think this is Bala again. I'm just saying that it will be good if they focus just on that app, number one. Number two, and as was said, Swaroop said that, I think they need to work on that app a little bit more and give it a little more steadiness and some, of course, and the presenters themselves said it is still at an early stage. But what I like about it is that anonymization means for collecting data. One of the biggest challenges in this particular field is getting people to report. Because nobody wants to stick their neck out because they are, they'll come in and identify, they'll be targeted, etc. Now, this is a very good way of anonymizing the complaint process and capturing data. So this may not be a complaint which can be taken legally, but it can be the initiation for an investigation. Number one. Number two is its greater value is in aggregation because you are able to get data. So I think this will provide an independent way of content and a people-oriented way. For anybody with a cell phone who downloads this app can participate in the data collection process. I think that gives it and it's a way of validating this data also. If you just focus on that, I think you will have something very interesting.
Thank you, sir. We will look into it, sir, in the future. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, team, and thank you, jury. We can move on to the next team. Up next, we have GLC Ernakulam, the Government Law College Ernakulam. The team members are Ms. Krishnapriya R, Mr. Akshay M. Sivan, Mr. Anthony Nikhil Remilo, Ms. Anjali Ann Joseph, Mr. Atul Sundar, Ms. Ashwati Jayachandran. I repeat, next we have Government Law College Ernakulam. If you're ready.
Hello. Yes, hello.
Anjali, can you be a bit more louder?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. May I start?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. Should I turn on the video?
Preferably, if you have enough data, please do so the judges can see you.
Yeah, Can you ask the host to kind of do it? I can't open my video right now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you can see me right now.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we can see the presentation. That's the important thing.
Okay. So may I start with the presentation?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So good morning. We are at Ernakulam Law College. So our project is about mandatory data collection for the sale of alcohol. Right now the Akbari Act prescribes an age limit of 23 for purchasing alcohol in the state, but unfortunately that is not enforced. And in our college, we see alcohol is being rampantly used every day, and especially in the festival days of Onam, Christmas, and and that's the same with every college here, and everyone knows it. So here I'm directly running to the methodology of this project. So to prevent alcohol abuse, one thing we have to do is to cut the access to alcohol, and second thing is to identify the person and help them get over the addiction. So here three authorities has to work in collaboration. One is the beverage outlets, the second one is the police and excise officials, and the third one is the college authorities. So we are putting forward in this project is an amendment in Akbari Act calling for the mandatory submission of ID proof for purchasing alcohol. So it will do the twin objectives that I mentioned earlier. It will cut access to the college students below 23 years. And the second thing, it will help them identify the person who are addicted to alcohol. So now coming to the activity, the project activity, it should focus around about 5-kilometer radius of educational institution so that we can actually make a find out the college students who are addicted to it. And then we have to have a make a ID collection there, and then we have a storage of data. It should be done in electronic form, and it should be transferred to the excise officials so that they can identify the persons. So now coming to the monitoring of this project, because without proper monitoring, this project will never be a success. So monitoring can be done by the two authorities. One, it can be done by the police and excise officials. First, it should be done in the BIVCO outlets, beverage outlets, so that this provision is to see that this provision is being complied with. The ID proof is made mandatory there. It is collected there and it is stored there. And the second part can be done by the college authorities, because the data has to be transferred to the college authorities. The name has to be transferred there, and then they can identify them and help them rehabilitation. Now my colleague, my teammate Ashwati will continue with the presentation.
The major risk involved in this project involves data storage and data mismanagement. Collection and storage of personal data is a very sensitive process. Leakage or misuse of this data can affect the privacy of an individual, and right to privacy is a fundamental right which is guaranteed under the Constitution. So violation of privacy will bring legal action against the bodies responsible. These data can also be to blackmail from individuals whose data has been collected. Then leakage of these data can also cause many social issues. For example, if the individual's parents, friends, and society comes to know that he's using alcohol, then he might get depressed and he might isolate himself in the society. So data privacy is a major risk involved in this project. Second is flaws during implementation. Flaws which might arise during the implementation of the project is that minors can ask adults to buy alcohol for them. This flaws can be prevented by implementing a limit on the amount of alcohol which can be purchased by each individual. Next is the role of government. To implement this project, government must first amend the Abkari Act, and second, government must make data submission mandatory for purchasing alcohol in the state. Next is project expenditure. The expenditure involved in this project is for making an internet domain for storing the data collected. However, this expenditure is very minimum. Excuse me?
It's your last minute, please continue.
Okay, and this expenditure is very minimum, and this service can also be done by the IT department of the government. And this data can only be accessed by the excise department. Thank you.
I request the controller of this session to mute all these other. There are various other conversations which are coming in. Can you please mute all the other participants?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, can we ask questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I'll leave it to the others before I ask mine.
Okay, Anjali, I have a question. When you said amend the Abkari Act, what exactly did you mean has to be amended over there?
Yeah, actually we put forward an idea to actually make an ID proof mandatory for buying alcohol in the state. They have to give their ID proof for getting alcohol from the state.
Okay, and how practical would this be at a beverage outlet to collect ID proof, considering the crowd that comes there?
Yeah.
You know the kind of queue that's there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
are they really going to practically implement this?
No, but if you put this provision in front of them, one thing they will do is definitely they will comply with it, because their biggest need is to get the alcohol. So they can do anything for that, and we're seeing it. So once we make this provision, even if there is a queue, I think they will cooperate with that.
Okay, and what consent is the person giving on the data that is shared? That to whom it can be shared? Like,
yeah,
there is a little bit of a conflict here. Like,
yeah.
I'm being forced to give the
privacy,
data.
Right? Yeah. So it should be purely maintained by the government, the excise and the government officials. It cannot be given outside of it. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, there is a paradox here, because once the data is lost, it will give rise to a huge amount of legal issues. Yeah, but it has to be taken in a very proper and very careful manner. The data collections, the storage, and things like that. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Is it, if there is an age limit, is it that anybody below 23, if he consumes alcohol, is committing a crime? Or is it that if he buys alcohol, is committing a crime?
No, not definitely that. But, it is an age that is more prone to get addicted to that. If they begin at this stage and they will continue for a long time,
I think, can I ask the question again? What I want to say is, you all are lawyers. You're going to become lawyers.
Yeah.
So my point here is, if you amend the Abkari Act and put certain, there are certain clauses. So you're saying there is an age limit of 23, which is prescribed. I'm just asking, is it a criminal act to consume alcohol or to buy alcohol if you're less than 23?
Yeah. Our point is, it is not to be made a crime, but it has to be made for the monitoring part only. Make it a crime or giving them punishment, that is not the whole point of our project, but it's just for the monitoring purpose and helping them get over it, to kind of rehabilitation.
See, if I may just clarify, if there is a rule, if there is a rule and you violate the rule, you have committed an offense.
Yeah, definitely.
So I won't get into the semantics of the word crime, but let's just say, if there is a rule that you shall buy alcohol only if you are above 23, and you buy alcohol and you are less than 23, you have broken the rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what is the penalty for that?
Yeah, probably a little like compensation or something like that, of that kind. Small penalties like petty things like that would work. Definitely not imprisonment.
It is still a crime. Only thing is, it is a minor felony.
Ultimately the whole point of crime and rule thing is for the betterment of the society, right? I think this rule can help the society. So ultimately, if this is a way that can bring it, then fine, that's fine. Yeah.
Anjali, if I remember right, sometime in 2014 or 2013 or 14, the Kerala clearly asked the government to amend the Akbari policy to prevent the sale to underage persons. And that was 6 years. What happened to that?
Sorry, sir. Can you pardon me, sir?
About 6 years ago, sometime in 2014, if my memory is right, the High Court clearly instructed the government to amend the Akbari policy to prevent the sale of liquor to underage people, underage persons. Yeah. What happened to that? Did it get anywhere?
Why this is happening? Because we don't have cooperation from the government, because it is a revenue, it is giving a lot of revenue to the government. So they are kind of a wavering approach to the enforcement of this minority thing and for the sale of alcohol. But what we need for the betterment of society is the strict enforcement of the Akbari Act, along with that banning the sale of liquor to minors.
So what you're saying is that the government plays a key role in fostering addiction.
Yeah, kind of, because it is their part of revenue.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just one thing. I'm just leaving you with a thought here. That, I'm really concerned that young people are coming up with such draconian things like monitoring the behavior of people. I thought the last people who would recommend such things would be young people, you know, because these are infringements on your freedom, on your privacy, etc. I am astonished that you are recommending this kind of big brother oversight. Now, see, for instance, if you look at smoking has come down not because it was forbidden or banned. Smoking came down because of education and awareness. So I think there is not enough of that. You and I may think that there is enough awareness. There is not enough awareness of the harm done by alcohol consumption, unfortunately. Even now it is treated as something very cool to do. It's a rite of passage when you're young. Everybody's, you know, feels like you have your first beer and you be one of the party and cool. And so my point is, think about this, how to make your proposal less intrusive in terms of the personal liberties and personal privacy and things like that. Because it doesn't seem comfortable feeling one gets when you look at this proposal.
So definitely we will look into that.
Thank you, jury, and thank you, team.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have time for a question?
Yes, Joe.
Probably
Yes,
just
Joe.
a minute.
Yes, Joe.
It's interesting you brought up alcoholism because it is a big issue in Kerala, mainly because it's easily available. So that availability makes it a substance that young people can access without going through any illegal barriers. So this accessibility, as you said, to youngsters, it's interesting if you can limit the age, because everywhere abroad you need to show an ID card to buy alcohol. Of course, you can circumvent these things by asking someone else. But what's interesting is maybe also the BevCo app, which has been brought about. So you actually put in your date of birth. So I don't know if the present situation in itself has helped curtail a certain amount of alcohol availability to youngsters.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think. Yeah, mostly I think so. I mean, I'm not using it. Definitely, I don't know, but I guess so. I really don't know about that.
Well, the government's role is also not great because, as you said, it's a great tax revenue. So the Kerala government encourages actually buying of alcohol.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe a social way of grassroots levels where you can get women who are abused because of these issues to be brought into context with your idea of a mandatory age identity before you buy alcohol.
Yes. Yeah, that we are trying to say the same thing. We need a collaboration with the college, with the authorities, with the excise officials, so that we can bring together a change in the society.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Joe. So that was Government Law College at Nagpur.
Thank you.
അടുത്തതായി നമ്പർ 3 ഭാരത് മാതാ സ്കൂൾ ഓഫ് സോഷ്യൽ വർക്ക് തമ്പി അഖില പിമോനി ക്രിസ്റ്റി ബാബു കൃഷ്ണകുമാർ IP പ്രേസൻ ഏലിയാസ് ശ്രീരേഖ
Can I start the presentation?
Yes.
A very good morning to one and all. We Nikriti, the team represent the institution, Bharat Mada School of Social Work, Kakara. Here presents a proposal titled Phoenix, a project for the empowerment of adolescent dropouts in the slums of Kochi city. The proposed project is a professional intervention among the adolescents in the slums of Kochi city in the age group of 13 to 18 with an objective to protect them from the risk of substance abuse and promote their rights for development and empowerment. As you all know, Kochi being the hub of interstate migration and modernization in the state of Kerala, we have been witnessing the increased incidences of illicit substance use among the adolescents and youth. Through the social work intervention model, we aim at channelizing this youth energy into responsible citizenship. The underpinning principle of this project is every human being has their inherent worth and dignity that is to be respected. According to the summary of the City NUHN Plan of Cochin Corporation 2014, there are 280 notified slums like Chaliparam, Attuparam, and Tuntuparam, etc. These are our general objectives and specific objectives. Now I request Krishna Kumar to present the rest of the topic.
Hello. Through this proposed program, first we plan to create a resource persons web in our selected slum area like ward member, division councillors, clerks, associations, ASHA workers, Kudumbashrees, etc. Through these interventions or support, we will get a platform to enter into the slum. Through this resource persons web, we will get an basement and to enter into the slum and to do our activities. With the help of this resource person, we can identify the dropouts in the slums, and after identifying, we want to begin a family intervention and programs like parental orientation. First, we want to give the orientation to our parents about these drug usages and about these abuses as well as education purposes. And this orientation for the targeted group, class on substance abuse among adolescents and FGD, competitions conducted for target groups. We have to give a plain orientation classes that not give any very bad or negative impressions about the substance abuse, but we have to give the basic ideas about the education purposes as well as the substance abuse. And we have to give a competition like arts, craft, painting, street plays, dramas, etc. So it will be giving a friendly atmosphere to the dropouts, and it will be giving a new opportunities for them to express their views and ideas. And blood donation camp is our next program. Through these activities, through this blood donation camp, they can ensure their role, the role of dropouts in the society, and their image also will be changing after the blood donation camp. Their social value, their social relevance will be more questioning through this blood donation camp. Counseling sessions, we can seek the help from the district mental health programs and our government authorities with the team of professional counselors to make a counseling sessions to these dropouts. So it will give a new opportunity for these dropouts to open up their thinking, open up their problems, open up their creation exposures. And computer class, with the help of our government like CD programs, we can get a more beneficial, or we can organize programs related to computer and in a positive way in job oriented sections like in online classes, online programs, and our new generation we can use this computer class sections for a positive way. And this vocational training like in our higher secondary studies we are using the S.A.F.E program. So job oriented training for these students, these dropouts, will be giving a new opportunity for these students to create their ideas, also to develop their ideas and to ensure their talents in their individuality. And finally, we want to form a club safe, substance abuse free and beyond. After the section of this project, after the ending of this project period, we did not close the project there. We want to make a follow-up section. Like that, we want to ensure the members of dropouts as well as the resource persons, as well as one volunteer or two volunteers from our project be ensured. The regular follow-ups of this program will only ensure the what we can say, the reduce the substance abuse among these adolescents. And we finally we have project a holistic start. In this holistic start, we will mainly focusing on the financial crisis and peer group influence. These are the main sections where these adolescents are getting into the substance abuse. And while we're talking about financial crisis, mainly focus on the substance abuse, school dropouts, role of parents, and role of society. As well as we are talking about this peer group influence, it's mainly going through this family intervention, society, etc. And these are whether our specific objectives: reduce the use and abuse of substance, prevent the use and abuse of substance, promote the right of these adolescents for development, enhance the employability skills of these adolescents, promote psychosocial empowerment of these adolescents. So through this our project, we will begin a starting process to reduce the use of substance abuses in the dropouts of slums. Hence, there is slum clearance board working, but it was not working properly in our state Kerala, where it is working very efficiently in other states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. So if we give a impact, if we give a push to this slum clearance board and our government to look after the necessary things or the development of the slum children, it will be a better for that students also to express their talents or to build a new India, new Kerala, and new world. So that's all from our project. Thank you.
Palace sir, are you going first?
No, I'll wait.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I think this team had a lot of broad ideas on what to do. I must say it looks like another project VENDA. But one honest concern that I have is like, I'm wondering if you will really be able to reach out to, or, you know, to like effectively cover all of these programs rather than just have an overview of everything. I think it's better to get into one activity and see how that can be implemented end to end, because say if you want to set up counseling sessions, there are a lot of stakeholders that you'll have to consider, like getting counselors, getting permission, like getting that inroad into the school or the community that you want to work with, and then holding camps or all the other activities that you mentioned. Like instead of just covering it overall, build a plan for one or two that you can solidly implement, get the confidence of the community before you move on to the next. And maybe someone can comment on why you picked this 13 to 18 only age group, because I think there is an intervention that can happen at a smaller age group as well at some point in time. The focus is, it's just that the focus would have to be different for a different age group. So one was a comment, the other is an open question as to why you specifically picked this age group. Over to the other panelists.
I have a question for the group. Is if you were asked to say what is the novelty of your idea, what would you say it is?
Bala, can I just add to the question, because it's
yeah.
If you were to pick one thing that you would do, what would it be?
Yeah. The group can answer. Okay, let me give the answer from one, not to Swarup's question. I'll try and answer my question. What I feel is the novelty of your intervention is that you have said you will identify a certain high-risk group within certain defined areas of the city. You said 280 slum areas in that. And you have also suggested how you will do that. You will go through the ASHA workers and various others in that, the social welfare organization, and through them you will get a profile of these people. Now that's very interesting. That's very innovative. And I'm not too sure how many people are really doing that kind of thing. But that leaves the second question. So I think which Swarup asked, you want so many interventions. Which of the, if you had to do one, which one would you do?
Sir, first of all, sorry, because our mic was muted. That's why we weren't able to answer it. So while we were able to do our counseling section, sir. Why we choosing counseling section? Because these targeted people, that means the 13 to 18 years of age students or dropouts, they're not getting any opportunity to come out there from their boundaries. So if we give a proper section for them, it's a very good opportunity to that children to open up their mind, to open up their dream, to open up their wish. So if we if we get their talent, we can give the respected, helpful things that will be beneficial for them, and it will be much will benefit for themselves as well as for their family. Also it will lead to a better development of the slum areas also. One of the main thing, or one of the main problem that our slums are facing is our authorities are not giving any proper recognition for the slum areas. Only for election purpose, they are using the slum area. After the election, even they do not have any proper water systems, proper toilets, and etc. So if they get proper education, if they get proper necessary things, it will be much more necessary for that kids and that children. That's why we especially choose the age group between 13 to 18, because it's after the age of puberty period. Also, it's the age of adolescence. So the children are getting, or they are wish to get more knowledge, and it's the turning point in our life also. So if we focus on that age area, it will be much useful. So thank you, sir.
I think I'd probably speak for the other jurors also when we say that, I mean, one of the members, Mr. Ikarit, I can't see him on the screen. So I don't know whether he has any questions. So.
Well, the program that you actually sent on the Word is quite detailed. See, that's the thing, actually. Most of the presentations have such limited time, but the presentations that they have sent are quite detailed and interesting. So we only get a gist of it in that 5 minutes. So which is why it was interesting to focus on how do you present the idea, because although there's a lot of data on your files, but when you present it in 5 minutes, what would you choose to present in such a short time to be able to convince a person that it's your idea? So yeah, so that is sort of something that needs to be worked on, because there's a lot of idea in your presentation files, and all of them actually. It's just how do you get to that 5 minutes and sell your idea in that 5 minutes?
Good job. Team, you have any thoughts? Any more?
One suggestion is that the novelty of the idea is in the way you have given you have devoted some thought to how you are going to identify the people you want to work with. That's very interesting. I think you should develop that further. And among the interventions, when you say counseling, stick to that part of it. Leave the development of the slum areas. You're trying to do the whole development of the country. Forget all that, you know. If you can just identify your target kids and you give them a group or whatever, counseling sessions, counseling inputs, you have achieved quite a bit. So you will bring in a lot of clarity and sharpness to your proposal.
Thank you, Jury. If you don't have anything else to add, I think we can move on to the next presentation. So the previous presentation was team number 3, Nikriti from Bharat Mata School of Social Work. Up next, we have team number 4, the firm IIM Calicut. Team number 4, the firm IIM Calicut. So we have Samit, Miss Sanjana, Miss Shikha, Miss Prashashna, and Miss Prashasti.
Prashasti.
Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Hello, everyone. As we know, the social problem that we're trying to address here is substance abuse among Kerala's youth. For that, we believe the solution lies within the community and within every kid who's fighting this. So we present our solution phase, which is freedom from abuse of substance and empowerment. So our solution would be implemented across 3 stages, which are spaced out across a timeline. The phase 1 would be sensitization of drug abuse through close-knit communities. Phase 2 is where students go through tailor-made skill building programs. And phase 3 is an entrepreneurship model where we inspire the students to showcase their talent to the world and also sustain themselves economically. Moving on, my teammate will take on.
Right. So this part we start out with curating a centralized network. So what we do is that we select the worst affected districts in Kerala and we appoint a district coordinator for each city. Then in each city, we select the schools and colleges in the order of their vulnerability to drug abuse. Post that, what we do is that in each college and in each school, we create a youth network of 5 to 6 people and a teacher coordinator. Now, this group will be responsible for posting content online, which will lead to our platform and they will report directly to the district coordinator. Now, the sensitization model that these youth networks will be following have these 5 tenets. So I'd particularly like to address 2 of them. So instead, our major idea is to make the entire thing more preventive. So instead of targeting drug abuse, the way we focus is that we want to figure out the reason behind the drug abuse. So that way we can promote our platform as a tool of effective counseling. Secondly, we help the people address their urges by taking some mini social media challenges of 2 to 3 weeks so that they can withdraw for a while. And thirdly, we also promote the involvement of our group in meaningful, like they have access to meaningful support groups in case they lack healthy peer groups or parental support. Also, little talking about the gender aspect here. On our platform, especially catering to the females that we have, owing to the stigma that is attached to them in their coming out, what we can have is on our platform, we will have the option of them speaking specifically to women. Then once moving on to the next slide, once the person gets to our platform, he or she will fill a short survey based on which he will be divided into groups of 3. And each group will contain 3 members, and those 3 members along with a health expert as well as a Cheta or a Chechi who's recovered. There are 2 aspects to it. One is the behavioral counseling part where there will be one-on-one sessions with the peer group, and then it will maintain a personal charter or a tracker to track the growth. And the second would be sustained involvement in learning activities. So this will eventually guide the people to their learning modules and time for further activities.
So, can you hear me? Hi. Once we come through the community building stage, next comes our skill building platform. So here we want to make our individuals industry ready. This can be by 3 forms. One is by giving them tailor-made programs in the form of online MOOCs done by tying up with the likes of Khan Academy or An Academy. Then is partnering with the colleges and universities wherein they can provide the courses that they teach in that university on our platform, and then we can also have college chapters to increase more awareness about the entire cause and the organization. And then after that is we can also tie up with the Skill India program. Alongside this entire thing, we will have a leader board wherein all the participants can compete, and whoever consistently is at a higher position can be raised to or promoted to become a teaching assistant. So we want to give them confidence by accomplishing smaller goals in life. Moving on to the entrepreneurship part, Prashansa.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So once the skill building session is completed, our participants can move to the next stage, which is of entrepreneurship. Now here they get the opportunity to earn money from what they have learned. We enable our participants to be financially independent when they move on to live within the community. We have structured this stage on the basis of kind of skills that exist. Now, for someone who has a keen interest in an academic area, he or she can make tutorial videos on the topic of their interest, and we can upload these videos either on our platform or we could partner with organizations like An Academy. For someone who has an artistic hand and is keen on building new paintings or products or apparels, we can make a marketplace in our platform, and these people can sell their products on these marketplaces. We can also partner with organizations, NGOs, who are interested in selling products made by our recovered patients. Now, if someone has developed a vocational expertise, we can partner with organizations which provide internships and jobs, and we can provide them with with internship and job opportunities to take up after their recovery. Lastly, for recovered patients willing to share their story with the world, we can conduct events like TED Talks and create awareness in the society. This will also help. This will also, help in creating an atmosphere where they can openly talk about things like this and be a preventive measure. Revenue in this whole system can be pulled in from the commissions we take on the product that we sell on our platform, as well as the tickets that we sell for the event that we do. Moving on, Samarth will take on from here.
We have our entire platform focuses
Sorry,
on.
Mr. Samarth, you'll have exactly 30 seconds left.
Okay, so we have focused on these 4 UN SDGs when we were making our entire idea, and talking about scalability, we want to build an ecosystem out of our platform that not only caters to the youth, but also to young adults who are in the corporate world, and to school going kids. So for school going kids, we could have college counseling sessions to help them get into college, and for young adults who are in the corporate world, we could make a LinkedIn like platform for this entire community, wherein they can help each other to move onto their career paths. But this is again a very future aspect wherein we'll be looking at economies of scale. Thank you so much.
Yeah, can you just explain this last? That can you go back to that last? Why is it called unsustainable development goals?
UN Sustainable Development.
UN. Okay, thank
UN.
you.
Yeah.
I was
so there was
puzzled about that.
So there was a caveat that we had to focus on UN SDGs as well when we are framing our solution.
Very good. See, I have one question about the very interesting things which you have presented. Is this program targeted at those who recover after having become addicts and have gone through a de-addiction program? Or is it those people who are potentially, potential recruits into becoming addicts, and you want to wean them away from that? Which is this? Because again and again, you're mentioning about recovered people. So is it for those who have recovered after de-addiction?
Sir, to highlight this fact, our entire program is a volunteer-based thing. So as Prashasti mentioned, there are 2 parts of it. One part is the Cheta and the Chechis, who will be acting like elder brothers and sisters who are either in a fair mental state or have recovered through the entire process. And we would also be having health experts. So that is one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the students and the youth who are going through the mental illness process, and they have some sort of mental disability like anxiety or depression. So they are the ones who are the patients, if we could say so. And once these people recover through the process, they can take up skill building in the next section. They can even look at the entrepreneurial aspects in the 3rd section. And once they are cured of their disease, we can actually give them a chance to volunteer on our platform. Like they can move on to the other side of the coin. So it's a very volunteer-based thing on both the angles of the entire picture.
Bala, I don't think you got your answer, right?
No, I didn't get the answer. No.
So the question was very focused. Who is your primary audience? Who are in the process of being rehabilitated?
Right. So, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes. So first question as sir asked, the chetas and the chechis that we are mentioning to in the recovery process. So we do have a list of people when we speak to the mental health experts or the drug abuse experts. These counselors have a list of people who have gone through the same process and have recovered. Even we as our project VENDA, we know a few people who have gone through it and they have recovered. And these people or are, at a very good stage of recovery. So we want these people to act as buddies. So one person is the health expert, definitely, but these people who have already gone through it, they might be able to provide a better insight. So these are the people we are.
Good. I think the question is the method which you're adopting is very interesting. You're going to use these chetas and chechis and all. That's good. Who is your target?
No, yeah, sir, please allow me to speak. So our target, am I audible? Yeah. So our target is going to be people who are going through the problem as of now, and they will be introduced in the first phase. These are the people we go to in the first phase, right?
No, what
And if
problem?
there are people who, no, if they are, if they are undergoing the problem of drug addiction, so these are the people we target in the first phase where they are introduced to our program. Now, if someone who has recovered wants to stay with us, wants to use the other section of our program, of our platform, which is entrepreneurial or voluntary, and want to take part in the program in the form of what Prashasti mentioned, then these recovered patients also can take part in the platform. So that is how the whole program is structured. Is it clear now?
No, no, it's not. But anyway, I'll come back. I don't want to hog all the time. I think there are other members here, so let them ask.
I think from this conversation, it might be those who have already recovered who want to place themselves better, and that's what is seen from the second part of their presentation. I'm really keen on the skill building idea. I think one thing that you can really consider is to partner with corporates who do hiring in maybe tier 3 locations, because they would want their employees to be in that area. And after the skill building, the main thing that you have to consider is who's going to absorb these people that you've trained and educated. So feed that into this program, to tie up with corporates to absorb the people who've been rehabilitated, brought back, and then trained and been prepared for the workspace.
Right. So just adding on to that, we also want to provide them with certain job or internship opportunities by tying up with the corporate. So I think that will incorporate to what you also just suggested. So that's also at the back of our mind, but not written because we did not want to put out so much in the first go.
Okay.
So just to answer the first question, so our real target are students, college and school-going students. The recovered patients would help us in building a community and help these students who are currently recovering. So we are partnering with everybody who is in different stages of the addiction. But initially, whom we recruit to our platform are definitely college-going students who are in need of help.
How do you identify them?
Prashasti, if you can take this question.
Right. So, that is why we started with the whole selecting the schools and the colleges in each district. So, in each school and college, the youth network that we are creating, they will give us insights into the people who are affected by these problems the most.
I'm sorry, we are running a little short of time. We might have to call the next team if the judges have any last remarks to make.
Yeah, I just have a bit of advice for the team. It's very interesting, but it's still not very clear in my mind. See, because if you see skill building, entrepreneurship, etc., it looks like these are all integral parts of the learning process any child should go through, any school student should go through. So I'm not really, I'm unable to sort of trying to understand which segment. Are you going to take those schools which are high-risk schools and talk to all the students, which makes sense actually, rather than try to find out in that school which are the hard cases and try to instead of trying to work on them. If you find high risk schools and you work on them in one sense, and one of the resources you're going to use are these recovered patients, people who have come back from being addicts and all that, and use them as chat and stages, makes a lot of sense. That's good. But these interventions are huge, like skill building and entrepreneurship, etc. That's all part of the school education process any kid should go through, even if they do not have an addiction problem. So I think if you can focus on, if you identify high-risk schools and focus the program only on those high-risk schools, that gives it some novelty instead of being too picking and choosing in terms of finding out who are the individuals at risk. That becomes highly manipulative and a very intrusive kind of intervention. So That is one suggestion which I have.
Thank you, sir. I think with that, we can move on to the next team since we are running short of time.
Okay. Thank you, team number 4, the firm IIM Kozhikode. Next, I invite team number 5, TKM College of Engineering, Muhammad Sulaiman Harris, Riyaz K. Nasser, Muhammad Rais, Katyayani Sangeeta.
Good morning, everybody. This is Team We, presenting is Katyayani Sangeeta. So today we are here to present on the role of youth in reducing substance abuse in teens and young adults. I'm just skipping through all of this because we actually know what it is, why teens and young adults tend to take drugs, alcohols, or cigarettes. Okay, let me start with this quote. Deep in their roots, all flowers keep the lights. Yes, for a plant, for it to grow healthily, its roots should be strong. And for us people, our roots means our family. And if we have a strong bond or a strong relationship with our family, let alone family with any other human being on earth, then the world would be a better place to live in. This is something that we are focusing on right now. And with this, we are coming with an idea of community clubs. We all live in residential areas or flats or places like that. And then there are association meetings held, celebrations, mainly celebrations during festive seasons like Onam, Christmas, or etc. And they meet regularly for the well-being of the residential area. So we are putting forward this idea so that we can make this associations kind of regular and compulsory, especially for children, teenagers, young adults, because when a celebration is being held, how many of the children from the area visits or takes part in this? Few or none, because they tend to be with their friends from schools and colleges, or they tend to be alone. So if we can provide activities and entertainments for children, which they actually enjoy on a regular basis, then they will come for this and they'll they can interact with their neighbors, have a friendly relationship with them. So with the community, why the community club? Actually, we come up with 3 reasons. One is that parents, they can know who their child is with after their school or college timings. Because mostly when children go with their friends, parents do not know what kind of friends they are with or where they're actually at. Of course, parents ask them, but sometimes there's a tendency for them to lie and go. And that is when they go take all these substances. So if the parents know who their child is with, they can actually correct them, advise them, so they have a control over their child. Second thing is that children, they don't tend to take such things when they are around people that they know or when their parents are around, because they're afraid of their image being destroyed or afraid of the consequences that they have to face. So if they bring that fear in them, not the fear actually, but if they're around their neighbors and their parents, the usage will be reduced. And the third thing, the main thing is that why do children take such things? Because especially teenagers and young adults, for them, it is the instant pleasure that they want, the happiness that they're seeking, the support that they want. Because adolescents and the early 20s, these are ages where they ask a lot of questions. They have the urge in them to know more. They want to know everything. They want to experience everything. So this vulnerability in them, that is what these drug sharks actually exploit. So if from the family and from the neighborhood, if they get that happiness or the support that they actually want, then they will have the courage to say no to alcohol or to cigarettes or drugs. So these are the reasons why we have come up, and we think it's kind of low cost also, because already associations are being held. We just have to make a few changes and bring it up in a new way. I need to say that this is not a permanent solution for children to take these. It's just part of the solution, a prevention solution. Of course, when they go to colleges or schools, they tend to take it, but then we can actually prevent it from, from a smaller level, from home level, we can prevent it. See, as the saying goes, if you're a good child at first, then we can be a good parent. So if you're a good parent, we look into our parents, we get ideas from them, we actually practice them. Then, of course, in the future, we can say maybe we can come up with a substance abuse-free environment.
Balas, are you speaking again?
I'm sorry?
Are you starting?
No.
No. Is it done? Is your presentation done, Katyani?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. I think you've addressed like what the issue was, but you haven't really elaborated on the solution. You've mentioned that you want to set up a community club, and that you said that there are associations already there, but you haven't really gone into the depth of what is the problem right now that you want to fix, like how you are going to fix, what improvement that you're
not like the problem. See, from what we have seen, it's like they take children, they take drugs because their friends, because of the influence of their friends, mainly. That is what we have observed. It's like they want to be part of the peer group that they are in. So we're considering that if the parents, or if from family and the neighborhood, they've given a much entertaining environment, or from the values that they've seen and being around in, then they will have that thing in them, inside them, that they won't take.
I mean, I got that, Katyani. Like what I'm saying is, you have an example of an activity that you propose to do. That maybe that will make it clearer. Like what?
Yeah, like for children who interest in sports, something like that, the badminton and caroms and chess and all of that.
But can't kids play this already? I mean, don't they do it anyway?
Yeah, but
what difference are we making?
Not into it. When they're growing, they don't, because parents don't actually ask them to go into all of this as a compulsory thing. They don't go. They go with their friends from college and school, and then they're all around with all of this. But if they can do it, if they are more into this after their school hours, then kind of like we can prevent it.
Okay, fine. I'll leave it to the other panelists.
So would you tie up with the resident associations, because there are resident associations in every area? So is it possible for you to tie up your idea as a club in every resident association?
Yes, that is what we are planning on, because then it will be easier, because they already have a body of their leading panel and all of that. We don't have to come up with anything new in it. We just have to bring in some innovations and improvements.
I think you need to, as Tina said, it is clear where you're coming from in terms of the fact that group dynamics, interacting with positive peer groups, and involving in community activities is one way of keeping the young people engaged and out of trouble. That's understood. But what is the specific intervention here? If it is going to be in the formation of youth clubs and neighborhood clubs, then that should become your major intervention, and that's what you should focus on, and not just map it onto that there may be some local residents association and they can get involved there. That is not, it doesn't really become a program. It just becomes a hope kind of thing. So I think what you need to do is you got a theory behind it, and which is very sensible, based on a lot of interesting past information and all. But I think you need a plan.
Any other comments, thoughts?
Thank you, Julie. I think time is up and we can move on to the next team. So up next, so the previous team was team number 5, TKM College of Engineering. And next we have team number 6, team ADIB from Mar Athanasius College. Up next, we have team number 6, team ADIB from Mar Athanasius College. The team members are Mr. Ashik Mohammed, Ms. Kavya Sanjeevan, Ms. Sharon Vincent.
May I start the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
It will be me talking about our idea.
Who's me?
Sharon Vincent.
Thank you.
Tremendous good morning to everyone here. I am Sharon Vincent, representing ADIBR team, behalf of our MA College, Kodamangalam Sociology Department. At the outset, I would like to highlight the fact that we are aiming for a logical approach in prevention of substance abuse. So what is the skeleton of our program? First of all, we adopt a village. And in the village, we identify the level of substance abuse that is present in the teen and young adult population using ASHA workers. Now, a question may arise, why ASHA workers? Because we already know that people won't disclose their addiction to strangers. So ASHA workers are already a part of the village and they're trustworthy to the people there. And they also have the information about who's addicted and who is not. So ASHA workers might be the best people with whom we would like to do a survey. And then consolidating these facts and preparing an action plan that is logical, that is reasonable, and is on a non-profit basis. Okay, so substance abuse, can it be prevented? It of course can be prevented. So what we need is motivation and diverting the addicted to new ways in which they can find their own hobby and their interested field. So in this, our project name is Hope, Posit Hope, and we have Hope Center. Hope Center is more like a de-addiction center, but not necessarily, because we are focusing on the whole development of the child. So people who are interested in arts, we are planning to form a cultural forum. For people who are interested in sports, we are forming a sports club. And for people who have humanitarian attitudes, we'll be forming mental health and palliative care. They might go there for service there. And for people who are interested in farming and agriculture, we are planning to cooperate with the local self-governments and bring about productivity in vegetable farming. So if this becomes successful, we would implement this on a larger scale with the help of NGOs who will be willing to fund us. Now, this can be conducted at the class level or the college level, and interested students can be grouped into groups for social activities. So what we need here is preparation of a questionnaire. We need to decide upon field teams, and we need to give these field teams adequate training, especially by the experts who are already present in such a field. And then we have to decide each days for what the services will be done by. For example, we are already currently doing our degrees. So, we might be able to do our activities on Saturdays, preferably. So we have come out with the campaign called Saturdays for Self, where we'll concentrate on self-improvement of every children in the Saturdays. And this will be more of like a preventive measure. Before the children even reach the stage of de-addiction, we'll be giving them more orientation and they'll be able to find their goals in life. So what are the strategies that we're going to do here is we're going to identify the hobbies and the interests of the affected population, and we're going to create opportunities for them so that they quit certain habits. And then motivational sessions will be done for them by psychiatrists, psychologists, even ex-substance abuse people, because they will be more effective in communicating with them. And then we'll be redirecting their talents and especially focus on capacity building. For example, sports club, we have already said about that. It will be a very good source of motivation for people to quit their addiction, and a core team will be assigned for that. And then we have a cultural forum for people who are interested in arts, and a core group will be assigned for that as well. And they will assist them in orchestras, exhibitions, and singing competitions. And then about the people who are interested in humanitarian attitudes, we will be sending them, or they'll be interested in more in mental health and palliative care centers, because the government already has a lot of care centers and they will be willing to provide the service there. And then at last, we have the agricultural aspect. And we already know that Kerala is a consumer state now. Earlier, it used to be a productive state. Even the vegetables and even the vegetables that we get here are poisoned with pesticides, and it's flooded with pesticides. So why not use the talent and the abilities of youth in bringing out and cultivating paddies in barren lands and green vegetables? So what are the benefits here? First of all, productivity will be increased. Second of all, there will be an positive impact on the environment, and we'll be able to create jobs, and cultivation will be successful. We'll be able to have financial assistance as well for these people, and they'll be financially independent. So this
Sharon, you have 30 seconds.
But even a 10-mile run will start with a small step, and we hope for the best. We are going to initiate that small step. Thank you.
One of the points which you mentioned in the presentation is that, at least I saw in the note, which was circulated, was that you want to remove the stigma associated with the de-addiction process and de-addiction centers, the social stigma, and your Hope Center will be something which will, but what is the difference? You can call it Hope Center, but if it is essentially doing what the de-addiction center is doing, what is the difference?
Sir, I guess in a de-addiction center, the main focus will be on removing addiction. And in our Hope Center, we plan on keeping members who have already undergone the process of de-addiction. And they know the pros and the cons of de-addiction center, whether it is helpful, what helped them. So we will be talking, and we'll be having them control the organization, the Hope Center, and we will be focusing on the overall well-being of the child there, because we'll be providing them with residential access as well. Children who have to go back to their home might have to face the same problem, and they might relapse. So we'll be providing them with residential.
So it will be a better de-addiction center.
Better de-addiction center, yes, sir.
Tina, Joe, Swaroop, any thoughts?
No, I
it's interesting.
What the SAFE itself was, so I think Sharon clarified it now. But yeah, otherwise, no, nothing.
Joe, you were saying something.
It's interesting if you can engage. Yeah, it's interesting if you can engage youth into agriculture, because when you're working with the earth, I think it'll also make you more connected with nature. But again, if you develop all these aspects in a local level, it's great, because it's again at grassroots level. And as you said, the Asha centers are a good place to start with if they know their locality and the people. So I think agriculture is an interesting idea to bring into de-addiction.
Thank you. Swaroop, any thoughts, Swaroop?
No, I don't have any specific questions. You can move on.
Okay. Thank you, juries. Thank you, team number 6, ADIB Marathanesius College. Adutha team number 7, Lumen Rajagiri College of Social Science, Georgie Jacob, Joseph Matthew, Basuri Balan, Sri Lakshmi D, Sajin K. Sebastian, Nidin Tommy.
So can we start?
Yes.
And show you the light, but you being the light is more important. Good morning to all the dignitaries. This is Sri Lakshmi from Team Lumen from RCSS College, Cochin. Project Prakasham Parakate is a one-year packed project with continuous activities throughout the year. It will happen in 5 schools of 5 districts simultaneously.
Real-life experiences, web series are the highlights of the project. The project is planned in 3 phases, which involves various stakeholders institution. Over to Nitin to explain phase 1. Can you please unmute Nitin?
He's unmuted. He's unmuted.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
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 Okay, thank you, Sri Lakshmi. Moving to the first phase. Selection and orientation of volunteers from social work colleges. The schools will be selected on the basis of most reported cases with the help of police and excises. The beneficiaries of the group between 30 to 70. It will be conducted on 26th June and it's an anti-drug day. There will be a poster campaign on online site introduction based on the event. Addiction medicine department will be taking classes about the physical effects. The follow-up will be done by the SPC and NSS members of the schools, and having the counselors advise about the therapy and counseling. And moving on to the section to Basiri.
So thank you, Nitin. അപ്പോൾ ഞാനിപ്പോൾ phase 2 കുറിച്ചാണ് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്. phase 2 പ്ലാൻ ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ റീഹാബിലിറ്റേഷൻ സെന്റർ വിസിറ്റ് ആണ്. അവിടെ ആദ്യം നമ്മൾ ഈ സ്കൂൾസിന് അടുത്തുള്ള റീഹാബിലിറ്റേഷൻ സെന്റേഴ്സ് നമ്മൾ സെലക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും വിസിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ കുട്ടികളെ കൊണ്ടുപോകാനായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ സ്കൂളിൽ നിന്ന് പെർമിഷൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ വിസിറ്റിന് മുന്നേ തന്നെ കുട്ടികൾക്കും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഇവിടെ റീഹാബിലിറ്റേഷൻ സെന്റേഴ്സിലുള്ള ഇൻമേറ്റ്സിനും നമ്മൾ ഒരു ഓറിയന്റേഷൻ കൊടുക്കുന്നതായിരിക്കും. ഈ കുട്ടികൾക്കുള്ള ട്രാൻസ്പോർട്ടേഷൻ ഫെസിലിറ്റി നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കും. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അവർക്ക് ഇവിടെ വിസിറ്റ് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം അവരത് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ഒരു 100% അത് ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ചെയ്യുമായിരിക്കും. അവർക്ക് അതൊരു റിയൽ ലൈഫ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ആകും. ദെൻ അറ്റ് ലാസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ലാസ്റ്റ് പാർട്ട് എന്ന് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ അവർക്ക് ഒരു ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് ഫോം കൂടി കൊടുക്കും. അവര് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്ത കാര്യങ്ങൾ അവർക്ക് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നതായിരിക്കും. നൗ over to Georgie.
So hello all. I think all can hear. So after the first phase is awareness session to the students by a medical professional. Then coming with the experience session, that will be a visit to rehabilitation center. Then comes our third phase, which is digital influence. അപ്പം ഈ ഒരു സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ നമ്മൾ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ കാണുന്നത് ഡിജിറ്റൽ മീഡിയ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ആണ്. അപ്പം ഈ കുട്ടികളിൽ ഈ സ്റ്റാർ ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ അഡൽട്ട് ഇമിറ്റേഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്റ്റാർ ഇമിറ്റേഷൻസ് കൂടുതലുണ്ട്. അപ്പം അതിന് എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് ആണ് കരിക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അർജു അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു യൂട്യൂബ് ചാനൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവർക്ക് എത്രത്തോളം ഇമ്പാക്ട് കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നത് ഈ ഡിജിറ്റൽ മീഡിയ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ഈ കാലത്ത് നല്ലപോലെ. ഞങ്ങൾ ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് വെബ് സീരീസ് ആൻഡ് പെയ്ഡ് സ്പോൺസർഷിപ്പ്. ഒരു വെബ് സീരീസ് തുടങ്ങുക based on ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി ലൈൻ ബേസ് ചെയ്ത് ഒരു വെബ് സീരീസ് തുടങ്ങുക. ആൻഡ് വി വിൽ ബി ഗിവിംഗ് പ്രപ്പോസൽസ് ടു മീഡിയ സ്കൂൾസ്. ആൻഡ് പ്രപ്പോസൽസ് എല്ലാം കിട്ടിയതിനു ശേഷം എക്സ്പേർട്ട് പാനൽ വിൽ ബി ദ സെലക്ഷൻ കമ്മിറ്റി. അപ്പം ആ ഒരു സെലക്ഷൻ കമ്മിറ്റിയിൽ സോഷ്യൽ വർക്കേഴ്സ്, സിനി ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റ്, ഡി അഡിക്ഷൻ എക്സ്പേർട്ട്, അങ്ങനെ എല്ലാവരും ഉള്ളൊരു എക്സ്പേർട്ട് സെലക്ഷൻ കമ്മിറ്റി ആയിരിക്കും. അവർ ഏറ്റവും ബെസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു പ്രപ്പോസൽ സെലക്ട് ചെയ്ത് അതായിരിക്കും ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. After the timely assessment, നമ്മൾ ഇത് തന്നെ വീണ്ടും കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഓരോ സ്കൂളിലും ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം ഇത് ശരിക്കും ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് വെക്കേഷൻ ടൈമിലായിരിക്കും നമ്മളത് ഇംപ്ലിമെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ഓരോ വെബ് സീരീസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പെയ്ഡ് സ്പോൺസർഷിപ്പ്. പെയ്ഡ് സ്പോൺസർഷിപ്പ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു വെബ് സീരീസിനപ്പുറം ഇപ്പൊ തന്നെ നിലവിൽ ഒരുപാട് ആക്റ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളത് ചാനൽസ് ഉണ്ട്. ഇപ്പൊ കരിക്കാണെങ്കിലും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ FT ഗൈസ്, അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് കുട്ടികൾ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഗ്യാങ്ങുകളുണ്ട്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അവർ അങ്ങനത്തെ ടീമുകളുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ആ ടീമിലേക്ക് നമ്മൾ പെയ്ഡ് സ്പോൺസർഷിപ്പ് നമ്മൾ പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ദെൻ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇസ് സജിൻ.
Thank you, Georgie. So we have an action plan. Our action plan consists of 4 phases.
The first phase is planned at June last week. The second phase is planned on October second week. The third phase and the most important phase is the web series, which will be released on the last week of March. The final phase includes the survey and monitoring regarding the project. Then we have the budget plan for the project. It includes the funds required for the school and for the web series. The estimated budget for one school is rupees 32,000 and rupees 6 lakh is allocated for the web series. 50% of the total budget is planned to be accomplished from CSR funds, campaigns, etc. Thank you. Over to Joseph for discussing about the outcome of the project.
You have 30 seconds to wrap it up.
Okay. Hi all. Thank you, Sachin. I am dealing with the monitoring process of this project. Okay, we aim to collect the feedback forms from participants of project through SPC cadets as well as the S.A.F.E club members in schools. We will also try to give maximum publicity through social media in order to ensure the continuity of this project. We are also aiming to provide leadership skills through our continuous feedback sessions. Our project is a long-term process because the eradication of drug usage will take more time. So the continuity of project will be maintained. We are trying to provide the real life experience to students through the visit to rehabilitation centers as well as de-addiction centers and the interaction with them. And we expect this will give some impact on them. As we all know, the web series is a platform which has relevance in this period, so that we are adopting this stream to catch the attention of addicted people. By watching this, we are expecting some imitations of the same in society, which will create a change. That's our monitoring process. Thank you.
Jyoti, yeah.
Just one question. You actually a couple of questions. One is you spoke about visits to rehabilitation centers. Can you elaborate on that? Because is it meant to interact with the people there, or what is your plan? Just tell me what the intention is. I understand the intention. It's understanding the real life experience and all that, but the fact also remains that people in rehabilitation centers might not want to, interact or be showcased at that point in time. When they're out of it, they wouldn't mind coming and telling you the story, but not while they're going through a process. The question, that's a background of the question.
So, actually, rehabilitation center no പറയുമ്പം ഞങ്ങൾ അവർക്കൊരു ആദ്യം ഒരു ഓറിയന്റേഷൻ ചോദിക്കും. നമ്മൾ അതിനകത്ത് പെർമിഷൻ മേടിച്ചിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് പോകുന്നത്. അപ്പം ഓൾ ദ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പൻസ്, ഓൾ ദ ഇൻമേറ്റ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഓൾ ദ ഇൻഹാബിറ്റൻസ് അല്ല നമ്മൾ അത് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പം അവർക്ക് ഒരു റിയൽ ലൈഫ് ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു ഫ്യൂ, ഒരു 1 to 5 ആ ഇത്രയും മെമ്പേഴ്സ് നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവരുമായിട്ട് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യാനല്ല, കുറച്ച് മെമ്പേഴ്സ് അവർക്ക് താല്പര്യം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ കുട്ടികളിൽ ഇത് ഒഴിവാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ചിലപ്പം അവർക്ക് പഴയത് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇതിൽ നിന്ന് റിക്കവർ ആയ ആളുകളെ വേണമെങ്കിൽ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളുകളെയും അവർക്ക് ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യാം. അപ്പം ഡയറക്ട്ലി അവിടെ ഇൻഹാബിറ്റൻസിനെ നമുക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു വിസിറ്റ് അങ്ങനെ കൊണ്ടുപോകുമ്പോൾ അവിടുന്ന് റിക്കവർ ആയിട്ടുള്ളവരെ നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ അവിടുത്തെ റീഹാബിലിറ്റേഷൻ സെന്ററിൽ നമ്മൾ ചോദിച്ചിട്ട് റിക്കവർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളുകളെ നമ്മൾ ഇൻവോൾവ് ചെയ്ത് അവരുടെ ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഷെയറിംഗ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ ഇതിനകത്തോടെ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പം സ്കൂളിലോട്ട് ചെല്ലുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അത് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു സെഷനായി പോകാതിരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് നമ്മൾ റീഹാബിലിറ്റേഷൻ സെന്ററിലോട്ട് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു വിസിറ്റ് കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നത്.
മനസ്സിലായി. ഒരു ചോദ്യം കൂടെ. A web series in there, what is the crux of your web series? Because it's a great idea. Because if you look at all the platforms that are there, whether it's Netflix, I don't want to name platforms, but all of them encourage the use of alcohol, the use of drugs, and it's very visual. So angana or space, it is always good to have cultivate a different voice, a different narrative, so to speak. So what will be the crux of your web series?
ആദ്യം ഞങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിൽ വന്നത് ഷോർട്ട് ഫിലിം ആയിരുന്നു ഒരു ഐഡിയ. ബട്ട് ഷോർട്ട് ഫിലിം ഇസ് ജസ്റ്റ് ഫോർ എ ഷോർട്ട് സ്പാൻ. നമുക്ക് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് നമ്മളിപ്പോ ഒരു വെബ് സീരീസ് തുടങ്ങി കഴിയുമ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് മുതൽ എൻഡ് വരെ, അപ്പം ഒരു നല്ല സ്റ്റോറി ലൈൻ ഉള്ളതാണെങ്കിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് മുതൽ എൻഡ് വരെ നമ്മുടെ മനസ്സിൽ അത് കാണും. ഓരോ ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സും ഓരോ റോൾസും. സോ
എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് വെബ് സീരീസ് നല്ല ചോദ്യം, എന്താണ് കഥ?
സർ, ഇത് ശരിക്കും പറഞ്ഞ ഒരാളുടെ നമ്മളൊരു ലൈഫ് സ്റ്റോറി അങ്ങനെയൊന്നും അല്ല ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഓവറോൾ നമ്മളൊരു വെബ് സീരീസ് കൊണ്ടുപോകും, അതിനകത്ത് ഡ്രഗ് ഇപ്പം ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സിനെ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് അവരിലൂടെ നമുക്ക് ഇതിനകത്തുള്ള നെഗറ്റീവ്സ് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു കൊടുക്കാനാണ് വെബ് സീരീസ് കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഇപ്പം ഇതിൽ നിന്ന് അവർ റിക്കവർ ചെയ്ത്, ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതിനകത്തുള്ള ബാഡ് അല്ലെ നെഗറ്റീവ് ഇമ്പാക്ട്സ് അത് ജസ്റ്റ് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യും. നമുക്കൊരു കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി സ്റ്റോറി ലൈൻ ഡ്രഗ് അബ്യൂസ് ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ എഗെയിൻസ്റ്റ് ഡ്രഗ് എന്നല്ല ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഒരു ഉദ്ദേശം. നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പം സിമ്പിളായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞ ഇപ്പൊ ട്രാൻസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു ഫിലിം ഇറങ്ങിയപ്പം ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് ഞങ്ങൾ യങ്സ്റ്റേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാവരുടെയും മനസ്സിൽ കൂടെ പോയത് ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡ്രഗ് ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സ്റ്റോറിയാണ്. എല്ലാം അങ്ങനെ ഒരു രീതിയിലാണ് എല്ലാവരും ചിന്തിച്ചത്. അപ്പം ഒരു ക്യാച്ചി ടൈറ്റിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്റ്റോറി ലൈൻ അങ്ങനെ പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം നോട്ട് കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി എഗെയിൻസ്റ്റ് ഡ്രഗ് അങ്ങനെ ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി ലൈൻ അല്ല, ഒരു റിക്കവർ ചെയ്യുന്ന അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി ലൈൻ കൊണ്ടുവന്നതിന് ശേഷം അവരിലൂടെ ഏറ്റവും ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻഷ്യൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ക്യാരക്ടേഴ്സിലൂടെ ഇതിന് എഗെയിൻസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള പറയാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ്.
സാർ, അതോടൊപ്പം നമ്മൾ കേരളത്തിലുള്ളതോ പുറത്തുനിന്നുള്ള നല്ല മീഡിയ സ്കൂളുമായിട്ട് പ്രപ്പോസൽ ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് ഫോർ എ ബെറ്റർ ഒരു സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ആ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റുകളെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ സ്ക്രൂട്ടനൈസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഒരു നല്ല എക്സ്പേർട്ട് കമ്മിറ്റി ആയിരിക്കും അതിൻ്റെ അകത്ത് ഒരു സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ് തിരഞ്ഞെടുക്കുന്നത്. അതോടൊപ്പം ആ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റിന്റെ ബേസിലായിരിക്കും, ആ സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റിന്റെ ഏറ്റവും നമ്മൾ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് കൊടുക്കണമെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അഡിക്ഷൻ, അതായത് സബ്സ്റ്റൻസ് അബ്യൂസ്, അതിന്റെ അവയർനെസ്, അതിന്റെ അഡിക്ഷനെ പറ്റി ഉള്ളൊരു വെബ് സീരീസ്, അതാണ് അതിന്റെ കോർ. അപ്പം ഏറ്റവും നല്ല ഒരു സ്ക്രിപ്റ്റ് ഈ പാനല് തിരഞ്ഞെടുത്ത് അതായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ വെബ് സീരീസ് ആയിട്ട് മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകുക.
സർ, വൺ മോർ തിങ്, നമ്മൾ ഈ ഓഡിയൻസിന്റെ അറ്റൻഷൻ കുറച്ച് അധികമായിട്ട് നമ്മളെ സീക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് കുറച്ച് പോപ്പുലാരിറ്റി അധികമായിട്ടുള്ള നമ്മുടെ സൈൻ ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റ് സെലിബ്രിറ്റികളെ നമ്മൾ ഇതിലേക്ക് ക്ഷണിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. കാരണം അവരുടെ ഒരു ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ഭയങ്കരമായിരിക്കും സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ. മേ ബി അവർ പറയുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ എന്താ തെറ്റാണെങ്കിലും ശരിയാണെങ്കിലും ഉൾക്കൊള്ളാൻ കഴിയുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള കുറച്ചധികം ആൾക്കാർ ഇവിടെ ഉള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് അവരുടെ ഒരു ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ്, അവരുടെ ഒരു ഡയലോഗ് ഡെലിവറി എന്തുമാത്രം ഇമ്പാക്ട് സൊസൈറ്റിയിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ പറ്റുമെന്ന് നമുക്കറിയാവുന്ന കാര്യമാണ്. സോ അവരുടെ ഒരു പങ്കാളിത്തം നമ്മൾ ഇതിൽ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, അതിനുവേണ്ടി ട്രൈ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്.
I don't have any specific comments. I think Swaroop asked that one question that I wanted to know on the web series. So there's no questions from my side.
I have a question, because actually today we are more connected than ever before, as in through the World Wide Web. But at the same time, as much as we are connected, we're actually quite disconnected, which is why even, for example, an actor who has millions of followers would still commit suicide, even though he has such a huge fan following. So as much as the impact of the web is to create a positive role, you would have to also find a way to bring in a human interaction or a hotline or a number or some way where you can reach out so that your web series would have a really direct impact.
Yes, sir. Actually, ഇതൊരു ഒരു ഓൺഗോയിങ് പ്രോസസ് ആണ്. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഓരോ 3 phases എന്ന് പറയുമ്പം നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം ഇവർക്ക് ഒരു അവയർനെസ് ആണ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത്, നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്, ദെൻ ഒരു ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് ആണ്. അതിനുശേഷം നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇയർ വരുമ്പം ഈ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ് കൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് മാറ്റമുണ്ടോ എന്നൊരു ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് ഫോം, ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ കുട്ടികളുടെ ഇടയിൽ അവർക്ക് എത്രത്തോളം ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻസ്ഡ് ആയി എന്നതൊരു നമ്മളൊരു ഫീഡ്ബാക്ക് എടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ആ ഒരു റിവ്യൂ ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിരിക്കും നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഇയറിലോട്ട് ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ് നമ്മൾ മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ഈ ഒരു 3 ഫേസിൽ നമ്മൾ മാക്സിമം ഡ്രഗ് എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അവർക്ക് ചിലർക്ക് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് കൂടുതൽ പേർക്ക് ഇത് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് കാണത്തില്ല, ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് അറിവ് കാണത്തില്ല. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് ബേസിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് കൊടുത്ത് ഇത് എത്രത്തോളം എഫക്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നു എന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയതിനു ശേഷം ഓരോന്നോരോ നമ്മൾ പാർട്ട് ബൈ ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മളൊരു ഒറ്റയ്ക്ക് ഒരു ക്ലാസ് കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ എത്രത്തോളം എഫക്റ്റീവ് ആവുമെന്ന് അറിയില്ല. അപ്പോൾ ഫസ്റ്റ് ഒരു അവയർനെസ് കൊടുത്ത്, പിന്നെ ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് കൊടുത്ത്, ദെൻ അവരുടെ ഒരു സ്റ്റാർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സ്റ്റാർ വാല്യൂ ഉള്ള ഒരാളത് അതൊരു അഡ്വൈസ് ആയിട്ട് കൊടുക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് നല്ല രീതിയിൽ എഫക്റ്റീവ് ആകും. ആൻഡ് ദെൻ അതിനുശേഷം നെക്സ്റ്റ് പ്രോജക്റ്റ് വരുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് കൂടുതൽ കുട്ടികളിൽ ഇത് ഇൻവോൾവ് ആണോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കൂടുതൽ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഇത് മനസ്സിലാകുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്നൊരു പ്രോസസ്, അവർക്ക് ഇത് ഇമ്പാക്ട് ആയിട്ടുണ്ടോ എന്ന് നമ്മൾ അസസ് ചെയ്തതിനു ശേഷം നെക്സ്റ്റ് അടുത്ത വർഷത്തേക്ക് പ്രോജക്റ്റ് മുന്നോട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകത്തുള്ളൂ.
ജോർജി, ജോ പറഞ്ഞത് ഈ വെബ് സീരീസിന്റെ അവസാനം എല്ലാ പ്രോഗ്രാമിലും പ്രോബ്ലം ഉള്ള ആൾക്കാർ ആരെ വിളിക്കണം, എങ്ങനെ റീച്ച് ഔട്ട് ചെയ്യാം എന്നുള്ള ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് കൊടുക്കുന്നത് വളരെ നന്നായിരിക്കും എന്നാണ്.
സോറി അബൌട്ട് ദാറ്റ്. ആക്ച്വലി ഞങ്ങൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് തുടക്കം തന്നെ പറയുന്നുണ്ട് ഒരു വോളണ്ടിയർ, അതായത് ഒരു എല്ലാ 5 ജില്ലകളാണ് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഫസ്റ്റ് 5 districts where the social workers from that college will be selected. 5 social workers from each college will be selected, and they will be monitoring and they will be administrating all the activities in that district. So we will be providing their numbers, and someone will be supervised from an expert panel. So we will be providing their numbers as the feedback and all that.
Thank you, Georgie. I think Ms. Tina will have to leave in a bit. If you could please share an overall insight from today's session, ma'am, it would be nice for us.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Was it addressed to me?
Yeah, I just requested you to share your overall insights about.
Oh, okay. No, I think all the teams, I'm sorry, I have to leave right away, so I just have to cut this short. But I think all the teams presented really, really novel ideas, and they've studied well into the impact that they can make in addressing this issue of substance abuse. So there's just some more work that maybe needs to be done in terms of implementation, but I think the effort that the teams have put have been great. And thank you to the rest of the panel also. They've asked some very insightful questions, so that was also good to attend to. I have to sign off right now, but I hope everyone has a great day. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Tina.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, Tina.
So with that, we come to the end of the presentations today. I would like to invite the jury to share their overall insights one after other. I would like to first call Mr. Joe to share your insights on today's presentation. Mr. Joe, if you could please share your insights from today's session.
Darshan, I think Joe has dropped. He will join again. Maybe Swaroop and then Bala, sir.
Would be nice to mention what will happen in the meantime on the back end.
Exactly. So we are, our judges have been scoring these presentations, and we will be shortlisting the 2 most promising ideas from today's session. So that will be happening meanwhile when our judges share their insights.
Yep. See, like Tina was saying, all the ideas were interesting, but what I felt was that perhaps all of you need to understand that this is something like, this is what is classically called an elevator pitch. You're given 5 minutes and you have to convince someone that, hey, this is the environment, this is the problem, this is a solution, this is how I will implement it, and this is the outcome. So that clarity of thought comes from having done a bit of research about your environment, which I find fairly lacking in most of the ideas that were presented. Not all of it, but most of it. Like say, for example, when we discuss an app, there are a lot of apps in the space. So it is important to tell me or tell someone whom you're talking to that, look, these are the apps in the space, but this is a gap that I find there. And that is a gap that I intend to fill. So that kind of a thinking needs to come out in 5-minute presentations, because unless you knock the guy on the head, unless you really, really knock the guy on the head, he's not going to, have that eureka moment and say, okay, I need to look at closely. So that is one point that I found that everyone needs to work on. Bala, would you like to add on to that?
Yeah. Joseph, I just had clarification. This is the time when you wanted each of us to say something?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Bala. Yes.
This is the time. So after this,
yes.
then this thing ends, and then the jury just sits together and takes a decision.
No, what will, when you all will be interacting, we will be tabulating the scores at the back end.
No, so the problem is my scores I haven't communicated to anybody. So how do I communicate it to you?
You send it as a message to me, as a WhatsApp to me.
Okay.
We will. Backend team will.
All right. So that okay. So then I think if Joe can talk, I'll just finish that and send it off so that I don't delay the scoring.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. As Farooq said, yes, it's important to have that your presentation idea ready in 5 minutes. But more than that, there's an opportunity here actually where there's a lot of ideas in which you can co-collaborate actually. Because again, as addiction or substance abuse or any of these goes, there is the need for a humanistic intervention. Because it's great to have apps which you can have the statistical data and all the numbers, but you also need ways to collaborate on a ground level, because these are issues which need ground level intervention. And as a lot of you mentioned, early intervention is great, that you have education through schools, but most importantly, clubs and places where kids can keep active, because the main thing is keeping kids off streets or areas where they just hang around because they have nothing to do. Actually, that's the problem actually in a lot of places. The children have nothing to do. So how can you substitute that and, find ways in which you can make early intervention in schools available? So there are ideas, but also how do you put it together? I guess the more you do these presentations, the more experience you get from it, so that you take away something and, you have ideas. Now it's a question of how do you put it out and make it accessible?
In fact, one thing that I was thinking about just occurred to me right now is that all the kids here, forgive me for calling you kids, but all the kids here have been part of an education system for something like anywhere between 17 and 22 plus years. So across all these years, has anyone taught you life skills formally? In other words, how do you deal effectively with the demands and challenges of life? I think, Diana, it's called psychosocial competency or something like that. The technical jargon I'm not sure of. But my question is, why didn't anyone focus on it? Because education as it is, we know the pace at which the world is going. We know the pace at which a virus can change things. And now we know all that. So core things at work here is, has anyone focused on your mind, body, and your environment? Has anyone taught you to cultivate a positive outlook? Has anyone taught you to cope with anxiety and stress, which leads to distress? Has anyone taught you what unconditional love is all about? Has anyone taught you to understand the magic of your body in a world where everything that is natural is now labeled alternative? Has anyone taught you what nutrition is all about? That you are what you eat? Has anyone taught you how to build your core strength? Has anyone taught you to understand the magic of the world around you and told you what your responsible role in that is? So I think there is phenomenal scope for a life skills program, which I was hoping somebody would come up with, And I know that it has to be integrated into primary schools and be part of education. But no school is going to do that because it calls for a completely different take on education as such. So maybe an external intervention might help. I don't know, but that is one gap that I found which perhaps nobody was addressing, because these are things that can equip you. Now we are talking about, you are taking for granted that problems will be there. and you're intervening to solve them. So how do you ensure that the next generation grows up in an environment where problems will be less, is the question. Or is a statement or a comment or whatever.
Bala?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I was listening with interest to what my previous speakers, I mean, the members of the jury, their observations, and I must say that they covered most of the specific comments on the. So I just want to make a couple of general observations about, this has a lot to do with what Swarup alluded to in terms of the gaps in our learning experience and how what education process teaches us or does not teach us or does not allow us to learn. So one of the things is this whole way we look at addiction, or some related problems like this. Like at one time, if I don't know, all of you are too young, but when AIDS was first raised its head as a social problem, it was shocking to see how even in a state like Kerala, how people viewed it as the wages of sin. That these are evil people who will pay for it because they indulge in unnatural sex and things like that. I've actually sat in at discussions where people have said this kind of stuff, and and this is supposed to be the most almost a postmodernist part of India with the 100% literacy, and we claim all kinds of things. And in this society, we were being so judgmental about. So in the same way, we look on people of addiction as there is something wrong with them. Something it's like it's like how mental illness is viewed in our society even today. I think in many ways we have a lot of ambivalence, and I mean, to put it bluntly, we have terrible standards in our society, and I don't want to say we are two-faced. I want to say if we can use a stronger word than that, we are worse than that. The highest amount of hypocrisy you'll find anywhere is probably our society. On the one hand, we talk about familial values, and on the other hand, you'll see, egregious acts. You'll see acts which should shame and shock any human being happening all the time here. And that's one of the reasons why VENDA and the Fourth Way Foundation have to do such work. And I'm sure if they report to, if the people from VENDA go to colleges and schools and just give factual reports of what they have seen, I think the people will be so shocked they will not recover. So that is the truth of our society, So I think to look on, so in fact, there is a very powerful school of thought which says addiction is a brain disorder, which has to be treated like anything else, Like, for instance, in alcohol de-addiction centers, why is it that the people running those hospitals insist on the spouse being the part of the program? Why do they insist on the family coming along? Because otherwise, our society generally judges that is the mental weakness or moral weakness of one individual, isn't it? So, you are all, I mean, most of the participants here are young people. And, for instance, I was quite taken aback at that college which gave this program about a very intrusive way of monitoring whether you're going to drink, whether you're going to buy, and whether you're going to, and they seem to approve of a collusion between the police, the college authorities, and the shopkeepers about deciding what you can drink or not drink. I mean, see, we don't realize what we are saying when we say all these things. So I think as young people, please reflect on your personal space, on the personal space of people next to you, and learn to respect that. And then within that context and within those challenges, we must try and address these issues. Now, the key words also, I think, are addiction, addictive behavior, addictive drugs, dependence, etc., etc. Drug withdrawal, all that. Now, I think if you look at most of the presentations, are we, one first thing we need clarity about, because these are two different worlds, is, are you dealing with those who are already addicted, or are you dealing with those who are likely to become addicted, likely to be influenced by this? Because so one is preventive and the other is, the difference is between the sky and the earth. It is like preventive health and curative health. Both may be called healthcare broadly, but there is a world of a difference in the actions, the interventions, how much money is needed, what needs to be done, what government should do, what it should not do in the case of public health. In the same way, in the case of addiction, if your idea is prevention, then you must look at methods like education and awareness creation and those kind of things. And that's where you young people are best at, because young people will listen to other young people. They're not going to listen to a person like me. If I come and give them a lecture, they'll say that's what they expect from me, to hear one more lecture. But if one of you shares an experience with somebody else, so that's a very powerful tool. So I'm glad that so many of you are thinking about this and are sufficiently interested to have come up with this set of projects, which we have made some suggestions. And I think if you try out some of our suggestions, I'm sure you'll be able to sharpen your projects, sharpen the focus, make it far more effective, etc. So finally, what I want to end with is, see, this is a very difficult field. Please remember that people are mostly going to be in denial. Not only the person who is indulging in substance abuse, but his or her family and everybody will be in denial. So it's not the easiest of tasks, for which reason I just want to place on record my great admiration to VENDA and Fourth Way Foundation for what you are all doing. Because in the best of times, it is, if you want to get out into the community and do something, even for the best intentioned projects, it's a very difficult task getting communities to get out of their inertia and to start, getting involved in things. To do a thing like this in the case of substance abuse I can only imagine the degree of difficulty involved. And I think the challenge will be to get more young people involved. I congratulate the members of these 7 teams for having taken the trouble to put together these projects. But as Swarup said, and I fully second that. And we are saying this not as a criticism, please understand. I think all the jury members, it was not as a criticism, but as a constructive suggestion, because we are very impressed at what you have done, is that to be able to make a convincing pitch, you must have prepared so much, because it is like, just to sort of mangle an old cliche where Louis Pasteur said, chance favors the prepared mind. I would say success favors the prepared mind here, in the sense that if you are done your homework, you can say what you have to say in 1 minute, 2 minutes and all. It won't be a problem, because you'll say that most important point you'll be able to focus on. So once again, congratulations to everybody. And I personally found it very, very interesting and very uplifting the last 2 hours to participate in this and hear so many enthusiastic ideas coming from so many enthusiastic young minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Bala, for those encouraging words. We were just tabulating the scores, and like you mentioned, there was no interaction between the people who heard the presentation, and I think that was nice, or in a way it gave us a very beautiful way. And even though there was no interaction, all of you similarly had similar scoring, and when you tabulate the score and take the total, it is also strange that it is there is not much, or there is no significant difference in the total scoring. But like we said, we will, Fourth Way Foundation always believes that ideas can be presented and ideas can be executed. So when we were discussing about this, initially we said that we will not pick the best and the nicest idea. So finally, what the team had decided was we will pick the promising ideas, the top two promising idea. Not that the other ideas are not good, but in the given time, what they were able to maybe convince the jury and the others is what we are going to share. And for that, I call Diana to share the final outcome, and then those who want to speak. Saurabh, you want to say something?
Are we holding them down to implementation?
No. We are not just holding on to one this one.
Okay.
So what we are promising them is, if the idea is practically workable, we will in some way join them and try to implement it with them. See, when we started this journey, this was not just for presenting an idea and then forgetting the idea. If it is workable, if it is we will actually join with the colleges and see if we can take it to the grassroots. Not just the 7 teams that presented today, but the other teams also. So we will have calls with them. We will spend time with them and see if, even if not on a very large scale, at least in their colleges, can we implement the ideas that they have shared. Diana?
Yeah, I thank the jury first to have sat through this. I know how much of your time has gone into it. And to all the participants who were selected for today, I think there is serious learning from the jury that has given their recommendations. As much as we saw your scripts and did shortlist the 7, we expected a little more finesse in the presentation and a little more sharper in the communication, but we are very happy with what we have seen. I just also want to talk about the other 30 presentations that came in. So this clearly for Project VENDA means that youngsters are taking this seriously. One, it is either the issue that is so relevant amongst them that is making them look at it very seriously, or two, that there is a need for action so immediate or so relevant that they've come to put together some ideas which might look practical or might sound practical for them without the whole nuances of the implementation and the seriousness of how to execute it. But the very fact that youngsters are coming together to think about things, putting an idea together, submitting at a platform like this and taking it seriously is very encouraging for us, because we are primarily here to work alongside with you all. And the third thing is that the commitment that we have taken is to journey alongside with all the projects that's coming. We will get back to you in terms of the feedback on the ones who didn't make it, and the ones who've made it to this round. Definitely we'll see how we can work alongside you all on prototypes or small pilots. The team will work alongside with you all. And to announce today's top 3, I'm just glad that we didn't have a lot to do, because the like Joseph just mentioned, it all just added up easily, and most of you all were in sync with the scores that came in. So I'll go with the first. We are actually here to present the top 2 ideas. So I'm announcing the top 1 here, and the top 1 is Nikriti of Bharat Mata College, the project Nikriti of the Bharat Mata College, Trikakara. And yes, kudos to the team. You really tried your best to answer the questions, which were very clearly shot at from various perspectives, because the jury really needed to know how to get to that implementation bit. But anyway, we're here around to see. I also understand the Bharat Mata College has a pilot running in a couple of the slum areas, and I think it's all. While I'm listening to you, I was thinking of those discussions I've had with your colleges in the past about the work that you all are doing in the slum. So it definitely connects, and it looks like a project that you can actually take to the next phase. And we also know the areas that you all mentioned are seriously under this problem of substance abuse and teenagers being involved in it. So congrats to you, the Bharat Mother College team. The top two, the second in line are, we have two contestants who have come in. It's the Rajagiri College of Social Sciences and the IIM Kozhikode. Both your scores are the same. So instead of the top two, we have top three colleges, top three ideas being selected today. And Lumen of the Rajagiri College, the project Lumen is something that's been selected. We also understand and work closely with your team at the social work department, and one of your profs is also a great advisor and a volunteer at VENDA for working with our children. So we understand that you also have an internal guide and a good process within the system that can take this forward. So any help, you are here to walk the journey with you and see how we can actually execute part or to some extent your idea. And the IIM Kozhikode, the team, the idea was firm. And we're also happy with the presentation that came in. The seriousness of the idea, though the bandwidth was too much, and you all were trying to cover, like Tina said, it looked like another VENDA project. We still think there is a lot of essence in what you presented, and there are portions that you can actually immediately take on and implement. So thanks to all of you who participated. Congrats to the top three ideas that have been shortlisted today. Thanks to the entire jury who spent your time. I know it's not easy to sit with these youngsters and especially try and refine and cull those ideas out and make them think through what is practically possible. So I thank you all. Mr. Bala, thank you so much. Swaroop, thank you. Joe, thank you so much. Despite not being able to be online and show your face, you've been with us through the whole thing. And Tina left us, but I give my regards to her. So thank you all.
Thank you.
And I just want to close with the one thing that both Bala and Swaroop were emphasizing about, that there is a big, serious need to rethink the process of engaging with youngsters at the starting at school levels. And the prevention model is what we really, really want to uphold and try and implement. And while Bala said that while there are a lot of things that we can do, this journey with the segment that we're working with, or the issue we're working with, is not an easy one. It's like a daily wake up and keep your energy up to do these things, because it's not very gratifying at the end of the day, and the stories are not really stories of success, but still stories of struggle for us. So I just want to remind the youngsters that these are not reasons for us to not dream big or see that we can execute or implement change. These are things that we need to focus on and keep ourselves oriented to bring about change as a community. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Swaroop, we must meet sometime soon. Lockdown willing.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
I just want
to call
Roshan to say the final word of thanks. Actually, Roshan was the person coordinating this whole effort on behalf of Project VENDA. So Roshan, can you say the final words? Because he's very quiet. He does everything behind the scenes. So Roshan, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Ellavarkkum namaskaram. Before I move into this amazing, at the same time, I would like to thank the technology that we have today, that we could gather online for SAFE 2020 amidst the debates of cons the technology holds. We were not quite sure that we could pull off SAFE 2020 due to the uncertainty of COVID pandemic, but we were very certain that this is indeed the need of the time. Project VENDA had committed to a 5-year roadmap, and we wanted our voices united with all the stakeholders so that no stones were left unturned in creating substance abuse-free environment. Therefore, this year, we came out with a theme role of youth in creating a substance abuse-free environment. ഒരു സബ്സ്റ്റൻസ് അബ്യൂസ് ഫ്രീ എൻവയോൺമെന്റ് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിൽ യുവതി യുവാക്കൾക്കുള്ള പങ്ക് എന്നതായിരുന്നു ഈ വർഷത്തെ പ്രതിപാദ്യ വിഷയം. And I think we all had an incredible journey of collective learning and insight with respect to the substance abuse and alternative pursuit, which have been put across over the 3 days. I believe joy is the simplest form of gratitude by saying that എന്നിൽ നിക്ഷിപ്തമായിരിക്കുന്ന കർത്തവ്യത്തിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ കിടക്കട്ടെ. ആദ്യ ദിവസം നമ്മൾക്ക് 2 മികച്ച റിസോഴ്സ് പേഴ്സണെ തന്നെ ലഭിച്ചു എന്നത് നമുക്ക് നിസ്സംശയം പറയാം. We had Daraf Shah, consultant psychiatrist, who spoke about addiction and habit formation among teenagers and young adults. ശേഷം legalization of drugs എന്ന വിഷയത്തെ ആസ്പദമാക്കി മിസ്റ്റർ ഷെയ്ൻ വാർക്കോ, എക്സിക്യൂട്ടീവ് ഡയറക്ടർ ഡെൽഗാനോ ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഓസ്ട്രേലിയ, വളരെ സൂക്ഷ്മവും വിവരദായകവുമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സെഷൻ അദ്ദേഹം നമ്മളോട് പറഞ്ഞു തന്നു. ഇരുവരുടെയും സാന്നിധ്യത്തിലും I thank them on the behalf of Pothe Foundation Project VENDA. രണ്ടാം ദിവസം it have in an interesting panel role of alternative pursuit among youth in creating safe. എന്ന പരമപ്രധാനമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു വിഷയത്തെ അടിസ്ഥാനമാക്കിയുള്ള ഒരു പാനൽ സെഷൻ ആയിരുന്നു. We had the astounding panelists who were all experts from different fields who conversed around this topic. Mr. Abhijit Barse, co-founder Slum Soccer, Ms. Regina Matson, Secretary General World Federation Against Drugs, Mr. Stephen Davisi, Indian musician, and Ms. Shruti Bapaya, Head of Client Engagement and Communications at Bridgewave. I would like to extend my immense gratitude to the panel members along with Mr. Rohit Shelar, who moderate the session without draining the essence of the subject. Despite the busy schedule, we have with us Mr. C. Balagopal, Independent Director, Federal Bank, Mr. Joe Ikrath, Fashion Designer and Co-Creator, Movability Clothing, Mr. Suru Bhia, Co-Founder, Star Communications, and Ms. Tina Susan George, Associate Vice President, Muthoot Capital Service. As the eminent jury panel who reviewed the social initiative idea presentation by the university students, I presume having to choose the promising ideas was not an easy task. We had quite a mix of interesting social initiative ideas from the 17. I would like to thank the jury panel for taking time out of their busy schedule and fulfilling the task for us. We are deeply indebted for your continuous support for Project VENDA. നമ്മുടെ കോൺഫറൻസിന്റെ പ്രധാന താരങ്ങൾ ആരാണെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു ഉത്തരമേ ഉള്ളൂ. They are the students who have joined us for the SAFE 2020 from almost all districts of Kerala. And kudos to the 28 teams who had sent us their social initiative ideas to create SAFE, and to the shortlisted teams from 7 different colleges who had the promising ideas. And I would like to thank all the participants and the people who have joined from different parts of the country and civil society organization. And finally, I would like to extend my gratitude to Ms. Dana Joseph, co-founder and director, Pothe Foundation, Mr. C.C. Joseph, co-founder and director, Pothe Foundation, Ms. Shalini George, mentor and catalyst, Pothe Foundation Project VENDA, and to all the advisory board members of Pothe Foundation and Project VENDA for the guidance and support in making SAFE 2020 a memorable one with a positive outcome. And to the whole team of Pothe Foundation Project VENDA, they had worked tirelessly around for the past one month for taking this out. And I would like to say, ഒരു കാലവും അധിക നാളത്തേക്കില്ല. Project VENDA will be back with SAFE 2021, and let's make SAFE possible. And in few more years, with the support of this team youth, hopefully we can say Kerala is safe. ആരുടെയെങ്കിലും പേര് ഞാൻ വിട്ടുപോയിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ my deepest apologies from the bottom of my heart, and thank you all. Jai Hind. Over to you, Darshan.
Thank you, Roshan, for effectively coordinating our team and making this event what it is today. And with that, we are coming to the end of the forum part of the SAFE Forum 2020. We are hoping that this forum offered many insights and ways for all those who participated. Project VENDA believes that you will continue this safe journey and take the first step in making your community's substance abuse-free environment. Project VENDA will continue to strive towards its mission of empowering children to say no to drugs by uniting with your voices in this fight against substance abuse. And with your participation, we shall create substance abuse-free communities. You can stay connected to us through email or our social media handles. You can find us on YouTube as you can just search for Pothe Foundation on YouTube. You can even watch all of these sessions again there if you want to come back and visit. In Instagram and in Facebook, you can search for Project VENDA. you can write to us at VENDA@fourthwayfoundation.org, or you can also check our website www.projectvenda.org or .fourthwayfoundation.org. You can check us in either of these websites. And thank you once again for your enthusiastic participation in all the 3 days. Wishing you all, the architects of safe communities, the very best. And we will meet again soon, as a journey together has just begun. Do be in touch, as we greatly value the contributions of Team Youth. All the very best in your endeavors. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Team VENDA. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Joe, thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.